shooting down in the woods. He wouldn't leave it even if he could. 'Cause life is good, yeah!
Hickok45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the hills of Middle Tennessee, the warmish, humid hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, the home of Alvin York, Dolly Parton, and many other great folks. Probably some not so good folks, right? Got them everywhere. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a sunny day. It's hot, but it's a great day. It's an awesome day. I was reminded of that commercial when I said that. Have you seen the Maxwell House commercial? You know, their old slogan has been for decades, I guess, good to the last drop, and they've got an interesting takeoff on that. I noticed lately, a guy comes on talking about epic, awesome, you know, whatever happened to just good, you know, because that was kind of their word, good to the last drop. And I'm reminded when I see that you know, he's right. Of course, that's some marketing, that's a commercial, but everything is epic. Everything is awesome. You know, some really overused words, right? I mean, it's just funny how words like that just take off, and everybody wants, of course, an extreme word, and it's just people talking. It's just colloquialisms or, you know, casual talking, so we can't be too hard on ourselves, but still, don't you get a little weary of everything being awesome and epic all the time? So anyway, I thought that was a good idea for a commercial. Struck a nerve. Well, not a nerve, maybe a chord. Yeah, struck a chord. How's that? But anyway, I thought that commercial was awesome and epic. I promise I'm sober. I really am. For one thing, I just brought a rifle back in here. I had fired about 3 minutes ago, so you know I would be sober, right? Well, you don't know it, but obviously, and of course, would be. I'm always sober, for one thing, and you never want to mix alcohol and firearms, or alcohol and driving, anything like that. And of course we don't, and I hope you don't and never do. But yeah, speaking of bringing a rifle back in here, I had the Mosin Nagant PU sniper out. We've had so many guns in and things to do with them, and I know, I'm not complaining. It's a great job. Somebody's got to do it, right? And so we've had the I guess the PU sniper for I don't know, a couple of weeks. But yeah, I've been out of town a little bit, and just a lot going on. And this is not one I can just go out and shoot. I wanted to get the scope mounted and sighted in before we shoot it, and I don't want to just shoot it at 20 yards either. Of course, y'all would be mad at me if that's all I did. Although, I'm not a long-range guy. I don't even, when I say that, you might laugh, if you've seen the 230-yard pistol videos. But I don't do a lot of that at 200, 300 yards. I don't really enjoy it that much, to say the truth. But if we have a firearm in that I think is conducive to that, or if I'm just in the mood, I'll do it. But I don't know whether we'll shoot it at 230. Well, we probably will. We'll try it again because I am so lucky with scopes. You wouldn't know that because I know in a lot of the videos, well, not a lot of them, but occasionally you'll run across a video where I've got something I've borrowed, and the sights are off, and I sort of figured out in the video that it's shooting left after I've missed. I think one of the worst ones with that was the Scar 17 I borrowed, and for me it was shooting left, really. It took me couple of videos to realize that, I think, but of course then I bought my own Scar and got it right on. But I don't know, that's just the way it goes. I think there even is some advantage maybe in that. Sometimes maybe you think I'm not all that prepared for a video. I should have shot a firearm a lot more and got it really sighted in, and maybe I should have, but by the same token, it maybe adds to the realism of it, because I don't always have everything perfectly sighted in, where I have fired 300 rounds and driven nails with it and all that kind of thing. But this thing, but when I do mess with a sight, I can get them on within a really good ballpark range very quickly. I've always been kind of lucky about that, I guess. Tell you what I did, I put the scope on this thing and tightened her down, and I took a couple shots at the plate the other day, and I don't know where they went. I couldn't get them on the plate. They were going way off somewhere. I took it just back outside a few minutes ago, and shot the plate again, missed it, and shot a piece of paper there at about 20, 25 yards. Didn't even see a hole. Wasn't sure where that thing went. And then I realized, of course, one of the advantages of this thing is that you can use the iron sights and the scope, because you can look under it and see them. It was designed that way. Pretty amazing, huh? So I got to looking down through the iron sights under there at the paper target I had up about 20, 25 yards, and then looked up through the scope, and guess what? They did not match point of aim, which was a good thing, right? That explained why I was missing, unless both sights were off. I didn't even try the iron sights. I assume they're probably not too far off. Usually it's just a elevation issue with them, maybe. And so I turned on the lateral screw on the scope, and of course was surprised. Not like modern scopes. You turn it just a little bit and it moves dramatically. And I moved it around there, just kind of didn't even have the bench rest out or anything. And just on the table, holding it in my hands on the kind of the redneck sort of job on it there, and got it over. I thought that, okay, we're in the ballpark, I think. Let me take a shot or two. And it seemed like it was right on. I mean, it's the first time. And I haven't moved it since. And it seems like it's right on. Now, I'll probably mess it up, but let me tell you what I did. I took a few shots. It seemed like it was on. She just a little bit low at 20, 25 yards, but I think that would be what you would expect, like shooting an AR-15 at close range. It's going to hit low, a little low, in order for it to hit, right on out at 50 yards or 80 yards, 100 yards, that sort of thing, because your line of sight and your bore axis there, line of bore line is, they're on different levels, if you haven't noticed that. And it is more noticeable when you are shooting up close. Okay, most of you know that. Well, took a shot at the plate, popped it, and so yeah, let's see how good how well the sights are, how good the sights are, how well they're sighted in, how good they are. Okay, trying to say it right. So I backed up in the yard up there, back past the house. Let me take a couple shots over here at the small plates hanging over there at 230 yards, and see if I can tell where it hits when I miss, and in the dirt. And lo and behold, just standing up there shooting offhand, my first 3 shots, I hit that son of a gun. And I had 4 rounds in it, missed the 4th one, went low, felt like I knew where I went, low, everything. And I quit. I mean, I just wanted to get it on close. We may do a video tomorrow, the next day with it, and so that was an incredible achievement for me, to just get the scope sighted in to that point. It might be right on. I might not be able to get it any better, unless I just really tweaked with it and messed with it, put it on sandbags, which I don't have, and all that kind of thing. So we'll see. I'll take some more shots tomorrow with it and see. For one thing, a little bit of luck involved there. For me to hit anything offhand at 230 yards at that little plate over there. And but that's neat. The trigger is not too bad on it. I was very pleased. I've been watching it, looking at it over there in the corner of the living room. It's just been kind of taunting me, because knowing I got to get that thing out there and get it sighted in now, and learn to shoot the thing at least well enough to show you guys. And we might be close. Now I'll probably miss when we get the camera out. Who knows? But anyway, that's what happened today, and we'll see where it goes. I don't make stuff up. I don't have any reason to do that. I'm on camera too much. wouldn't do me any good to make stuff up. And I do occasionally. I'll tell you, give you the history of a firearm, my shooting experience with it, before the video, where I couldn't hit anything, or I actually did well. The other day we did a video. I don't know if it was something posted yet or not, but I remember it was a handgun, and I think the first 3 shots I took with it, I hit the red plate on the on the pistol range there, and I shared that in the video. And I don't remember how I did in the video, but I just wanted to give you my experience with it. I have nothing to show off about. If I want to show off, I try to show off in a video. But if I miss off camera or I hit off camera, sometimes I'll tell you. So I know y'all know that. You've been around a while. I'm not into fabrication. Too old for that. But anyway, that's a pretty neat rifle, I have to say. I think the thing that stands out the most, it's not the fact that it has a scope on it, because often I don't shoot scopes as well as I do iron sights, but the trigger is better than any Mosin that I've shot. So it's not, your $200 match grade trigger or anything, but it's not bad, and that's why I might be able to hit something with it. We'll see. Okay. Speaking of Mosin, the guns, most of you probably saw the truckload of Mosin crates I had on my ridgeline. I posted on Facebook. Maybe I'll use those for a rifle stand. How's that? Would that be appropriate, especially for a Mosin? But speaking of Mosin crates, again, I appreciate the MosinCrate.com providing that rifle. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it's a great name for a website, isn't it? The Mosin Crate. If I was a Mosin expert, selling Mosins, trading Mosins, that was my thing, and I set up a website. I hope I would have thought of that. That's really cool. The Mosin Crate. I can't think of anything better. And I hope the guy does well. He's helped us, and I hope you all appreciate it when folks like that do help us, because it brings things like this to the channel, and I can share with you. And that's cool. I don't really need any more guns. There's that word "need" again, right? I'm one of those guys who really doesn't need a lot more guns, but they're always cool, whatever they are, and I enjoy them. And so when we get somebody that wants to send us something for a T&E to return, or a gift to keep, I'm glad for the channel. I'm glad for John and me, I guess, but I'm glad to be able to bring it to you guys. I know it sounds altruistic, and I don't know that there is such a thing as altruism, if you know what that word means. But it's great knowing that we'll be able to bring it through the channel and show you guys, and then whatever we do with it, we do with it after that. But it adds to the adventure. It adds to what's going on here, which has gotten big, as you know, and we appreciate so many of you coming in, and our ability now, it seems at least, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, but to bring you so many different firearms. And as I've said before, I don't want to get away from doing our woods walks and our chapter 2s and even our close, all the stuff we enjoy doing. That's just the fun of firearms, and we're not going to get away from that. But it is nice getting more firearms and different firearms that we want to bring to you. And it's becoming, I don't know if it's kind of a unique thing, but it's we're all we're creating new stuff here. I mean, this is all so new in the sense that YouTube and shooting videos, certainly not new, but the last 5, 6, 7 years, this kind of thing really didn't exist, and where it's gone now is really remarkable, isn't it? Isn't it a great country? Now YouTube has its negatives, obviously, and everything does, but it's great to be able to do this. So if it ends tomorrow, fine, but it's cool to be able to do it. Well, if it ends tomorrow, it's not fine, actually, right? I don't want it to end. But YouTube can end, of course, I guess, at any time. I would rather not be copying DVDs and shipping them out. I do think the internet is a little bit more convenient, right? As long as everybody's coming to our channel on YouTube and not, finding stolen videos and all, supporting that endeavor. And I know you're not, or you wouldn't be listening to the radio show. I doubt that we have many thieves tuning in. I hope at all, really. But how's that for some irony? We actually have found people have actually stolen the radio shows too. They're out there, and downloaded and re-uploaded, some channel somewhere. And here on that very video, I'm talking about these idiots that steal, these unethical people that actually steal intellectual property and repost it, like the person who you're listening to right now. Well, actually, I hope not. You wouldn't be doing that. But anyway, it's great, and YouTube works pretty well, and has some negatives, but it's working pretty well right now. And we're going to keep doing this. What have we been up to? Before I get rambling too far afield. Well, John and I just got back from Friendship, which most of you know. Again, if you follow Twitter, Facebook, I think everything I post on Facebook goes over to Twitter, so no excuse for not knowing what kind of craziness that we're up to, because I do post more now on Facebook. I didn't really post much of anything there until, 6 months or a year ago, and so I tried to do better, and I have done better, as you know. And I actually think about it, and I'll take a picture with that in mind quite often, and just keep you posted on what's going on, what's coming up, and everything, so you can be mad if I don't post a video of a firearm that I've teased you with, right? We'll keep doing that. I tell John every now and then, I say, I got to quit doing that, because people, hey, where's the video on that, or the SIG 227, or whatever else it might be, and I said, maybe we shouldn't do that. No, go ahead. They like to know what's coming up, even if it's not coming up soon and everything. So I'll keep doing that. I like to mess with people anyway, I'm a professional at that, so I got to keep that up. But John and I just got back, as you know, from Friendship, Indiana. Black powder muzzle loading mecca, as I call it. It's one of the national shoots. They have a couple big ones a year. And that one is a big one. They have it up there, well, I don't know. There's 3 or 4, actually, I guess, a year. And they have one there both in the fall and in the spring. It's kind of like Knob Creek machine gun shoot, every fall, every spring. And in a lot of ways, it's like Knob Creek. If you've been to Knob Creek, except it's the other extreme. You have a shooting endeavor that's a little extreme, I guess you could say, because machine guns are a little extreme, especially the volume of them and the types you see at Knob Creek. And in muzzle loading, you see the extremes. That's the other end of it. You've got flintlocks, cap locks, and people just shooting black powder, So that's pretty extreme. Have a huge shoot that big that's just muzzle loaders. And then in connection with both, you have a lot of vendors, kind of a gun show, in connection with it, and all sorts of things. So they're similar, but they're very different. But Friendship is always cool. I like to get up there at least once a year if I can, and partake of the sulfur in the air. It just smells so good, all that black powder burning. I didn't buy a lot. I guess I bought another axe, throwing axe, and one like I have from Beaver Bill. I love his throwing axes. And threw some. They have a place there you can actually throw. So that was fun. Have thrown it since I got home. We'll need to do another video of throwing axes. It is a lot of fun. You need to have a good target for it. It's just not something you're going to pick up at Walmart. That's the only problem with throwing axes. Not a problem finding a good throwing axe. And I mean, these are $60. They're basically hand forged, and they're one of the premium axes out there for throwing, for $60. I don't know, that's his price. I don't know if that's his internet price or not. And but anyway, they're no problem to find a good throwing axe. It's just they'll stick in a tree sometimes. You got an old dead tree or whatever, but there's nothing better than having an actual slice out of a tree. And of course, that's what that stump is on the range. That a lot of you probably, even listening to this, wonder, what the heck is that stand with that piece of tree on it? I get questions about that every now and then. Well, that's a target, for a throwing axe. There's nothing really better than a slice out of a tree. Of course, that's more than a slice. That's a log. And I need to get to a sawmill, see if I can get a big slice, upgrade my tomahawk or my axe target, because that is fun. I enjoy it. I've gotten to the point where from, I don't know, whatever the distance is, one turn, I just sort of know from instinct, kind of trial and error, but instinct. If you've ever thrown darts or anything like that, you just sort of know where the best place to stand is. And it's, what is it? I don't know. Different for different people, depending on your size, but probably around 15 feet or so. I get one turn, complete turn of the axe, and and for it to stick. So I can stand out there on a good day and throw and the axe stick, hit the target somewhere, and the axe actually stick. Maybe 8 to 9 out of 10 throws, on a good day. On a bad day, maybe half of them. But that's the thing about it. It's a challenge, and it's fun. It's like shooting a basketball. When you hit, it's just fun. And I don't mean hit the center. I mean just stick, period. Because I guess there's kind of 3 elements to throwing an axe, really, the way I look at it, in terms of being successful. First and foremost is just getting in the right place and throwing with good form and consistent form and following through in the right position or distance from the target to where the axe will actually, when it gets to the target, the blade is coming around and it will stick. All right. Now that's the first fundamental. That's pretty important. Okay, because it doesn't matter where you hit. If that doesn't happen, is not going to stick no matter what you're throwing at. Okay, so that's the first goal. Ideally, if you had a target the size of a barn, barn door or whatever, so you could just focus on that, getting the right distance, the right throw, the right amount of spin, because you can stay in the same place and have different spins because of how you release it and all that. So you got to master that first to enjoy it. Okay, the axe is going to turn one time and then it's going to hit on the blade. Most of the time that's going to work for you. Once you master that, then you can, then you want to hit the target, okay, somewhere, whatever your target is. It's a little bit like archery. You need kind of a specialized target, and your second goal is to hit the target somewhere. You want it to be turning to where it will stick, and then you want it to hit the target. Forget about the bullseye. You just want to hit the target, hit the log. So I feel like for me, a hit is what I'm going for. I just want to stick it in the target. That is a great feeling when you do that. No matter where you hit that slice of log, that is successful. It's a great feeling, really rewarding. I guess it's like shooting a basketball, maybe you almost miss or something. It hits the rim as it goes through. It's not a swish, but you hit. All right, so then the next step, the last goal that might be worthy to strive for is to actually stick it not only in the target somewhere, but in the center of the target or whatever you're throwing at. If you stick a playing card up there and you're trying to hit it, whatever it is. So then getting some final accuracy out of it. I look at that as the third stage. But even being able to hit the target anywhere, that is fun. That makes it worth it. It doesn't matter. We were throwing at some targets there at Friendship. They have 3 or 4 axe targets, set up with a big slice of a tree and everything. And there was a guy next to us with 2 little kids, little guy and a girl. Gosh, I don't know, the girl must have been about 4 or 5 years old or something, maybe 6. But the guy was younger than her, I think, and or vice versa, I guess. I guess the girl was a smaller one. But man, they were slinging us things at the targets. I was kind of watching myself, watching where I was throwing, and then watching them too. Because one thing, they had the targets a little close to each other, I thought, because sometimes, it will bounce, bounce right off the target. And of course, theirs were bouncing most of the time. They were just learning and they were just having fun and slinging those axes and sticking very few of them. And so when they're hitting on the side or the handle and bouncing, they can bounce around. And so you always want to be aware of that. It's like throwing knives, if you've ever done that. Those suckers can bounce and glance and just go anywhere. Axes are not quite as bad, but they can certainly bounce. And these, when I say axe, I'm talking about what a lot of people call a tomahawk, okay, a hatchet. Okay, I think the most correct term is axe. It's just a hand axe, right? The throwing axe is what the people in the know tend to call those. But anyway, that's a lot of fun. And I know it's just more indication, more evidence that I'm pretty sick, right? One day I'm shooting a full auto M4, M16 and enjoying that. And the next day I'm throwing primitive axes and enjoying that just as much. Hey, shooting is shooting. Hitting a target is hitting a target, whether it's a basketball, a dart, an arrow, a 5.56 bullet, a 45-70 bullet, a single shot rifle, a muzzle loader. It just doesn't matter. It's fun, and you just got to pick what you like the most. Or you could do like I do. You could do it all, right? And I've been doing it all for a long time. I have, 5 or 6 or 7 probably axes in total, throwing axes. I've done that for a long time off and on. I remember when John was a little guy. Speaking of a little guy, he was like those ones that were throwing next to us. And I would walk around the farm with him, take him, walks through the trails when he was a little guy. And he would throw occasionally, but he was really little. And he'd point out targets for me to throw at, an old dead tree or something, and throw the axe at it. So I've been doing this weird stuff a long time. You probably knew that. Before I forget it, I wanted to thank the people of Kentucky, whom I make fun of occasionally, right, for their hospitality lately. We went to the meet and greet up in Owensboro at Whittaker Guns and had a good time. Met a lot of people from Kentucky and had a really, really good turnout. And thoroughly enjoyed that. Whittaker Guns was a great host, and it was just a great day. Met a lot of folks, a lot of families, a lot of little kids. You've probably seen some of those posted on Facebook. And who knew we had so young an audience out there, at least on one end of the spectrum, little 5-year-olds and 4-year-olds. I mean, that was funny. I just have to catch myself. I think people are kidding me. And when they tell me that their 4-year-old or 5-year-old watches the videos and likes the videos, okay, yeah, right, you're just saying that. Yeah. But they really do. They let them watch them, and they've even got favorite videos. If they can get the little tyke to talk, they're kind of shy when they see a big old ugly guy like me. And at least, they feel safe when I'm on the computer. When they see me in person, they go, oh man, he's pretty scary. But it is neat to meet all the folks, all the folks, so many folks that do watch the videos, young and old, ugly, handsome, pretty, ugly, whatever, just everybody that watches the videos. It's cool to meet you all. No way to meet that many more of you probably, obviously. It's hard to do that and get around and do those things. But I've enjoyed the ones we've done. We'll do another one in East Tennessee this fall. I look forward to that at the Bud's Gun Shop and Range over there. The new one behind the Smoky Mountain Knife Works shop there. And that'll be cool. And speaking of them in Kentucky, that's where I got the Mosing crates. They gave us those as we went through there the other day on our way to Friendship, Indiana. So that was nice of them. And Kentucky's just a great place. A lot of shooters, a lot of families that shoot. And, like Tennessee, not a lot of difference between Tennessee and Kentucky. I've lived in both and traveled back and forth between both states quite a lot. And, other than some of the countryside, there's just not much difference, really. Kentucky needs to spend more money on their roads, get them back in shape. I will say that. I'm glad you all enjoyed seeing John in a video, by the way. Again, he's been in videos before, but not very extensively. And I've been trying to talk him into it lately to take part out there in front of the camera occasionally. And I thought he did a good job, had some fun doing it. So that's good. John used to be camera shy, and just shy in general. Well, so did I when I was young, and a lot of people are, of course. But we'll get him out there more often, and he's a good shot too. He's a really good shot. So you can imagine why he's grown up on a shooting range. Doesn't hurt, does it? Some of you were surprised you hadn't seen him yet. I mean, it's funny to see some of the comments. People had no clue who John was. Recent subscribers generally, or people who just haven't seen all the videos. What's wrong with you? You should have seen them all by now. What are you doing? Working, doing other productive things, wasting your time? Get back there and look at those videos. But people were surprised. It's funny. Somebody made a comment about, well, I expected your son probably to have a shaved head and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. Some people, you think because I live in Tennessee, that we're like real rednecks or skinheads or something. I don't know. That's not what the person meant, I realize. But there are a lot of assumptions that we all make about people, and the stereotyping and everything. It's funny. I see comments, of course, directed at me. I won't say often, but periodically, about the old Southern redneck comments. You see those. Someone pops in. You like to think they haven't seen any of the videos except the one they landed on, and they'll make some snide comment about the redneck. He probably kills people in his spare time, or they just assume you're a bigot, because you're living in the South and you're an old white guy or something. And of course, all that does is reveal the bigotry within that person, and I usually let them know about that. But it's a shame that people do that we just judge people based on what they look like, or the color of their skin, or where they live, or the fact they like guns. That's the big one too, isn't it? Yeah, man, look at me. I don't have a chance. I am definitely going to be pigeonholed, stereotyped. I live in the South. I'm an old white guy, with short hair. So, who loves guns. So I don't have a chance, do I? So they look at me, and I've been seeing that for years, of course, off and on. It's not like frequent or anything, but it's often enough that you wish you would not see it, not because it bothers me, because I know who I am and you all know who I am, but that there are people who just live that way. They see an old white guy and assume he's a racist or a bigot. He lives in the South. He's a gun nut. Oh, there's one of those gun nuts in the South. And the sad thing is, some of these people, now you understand when it's an anti-gunner, someone who hates guns, they like to maintain that narrative, that fantasy that anybody who likes guns is some redneck and all that. You got those people, of course. But sadly enough, I think there are probably other folks too that maybe they're not anti-gun, but they see an old white guy and they just get that opinion right away. Just like some people get an opinion right away when they see a black guy or a whatever guy, or someone that lives in New York City. You just all these preconceptions, these notions we have about people. If we expect people not to judge us, then we need not to judge them, right? So it's a changing world too, really changing. I mean, there are obviously things that I wouldn't do. You're never going to see me with tattoos all over my body, right? Probably. But if you do that, hey, that's your thing. That's your thing. You got long hair, short hair. Yeah, that's your thing. You know, I try to judge people based on their actions and what they do, what they say. You know, that kind. If I'm going to judge them, and of course we all judge. That's how we survive. Based on what if someone says they're going to kill me, yeah, I'm going to judge you. I'm going to judge you that you're dangerous. You know, you would think in the year 2014 that we would be beyond all this stupid stuff, color of skin and how people look and dress and whether they have tattoos or not. You know, I mean, I would not do it. You know, been watching the basketball and the guy, what's his name, Anderson, the Birdman that plays for Miami, right? Yeah. You know, that's a weird looking dude. You know, I mean, that's just a weird looking dude. But he might be just a great fella. Seems like he is. You know, I would never doctor myself up to look like that. But hey, that's his thing. He might be someone who is just a precious. You know, does things for people. You know, cares about people. Doesn't judge people. You know, minds his own business and whatever compliments we could pay anybody, he might fit all of those, you know, and I'm sure he gets judged a lot just on his looks. But, you know, anyway, a lot of things are not my cup of tea, but I try not to judge people on it. And, you know, I wish, I'm not perfect either. I'm sure I do. I don't realize it sometimes. But I just wish we could get away from all that and like totally stop talking about skin color and race and all that and religion. My gosh, I just get weary of it. I mean, really. I mean, I've been on the planet a while, and you see this year after year after year, whether it's in the media or it's individuals. You know, let it go. Wow. I mean, people are just people. You know, just don't even assume anything about anybody until you have a reason to, that they're a bad guy or a good guy or a dangerous person or somebody you want to befriend or not. You know, it's wow. Anyway, got on my soapbox there again. But anyway, I'm a target of that too, is the reason I mentioned that, I guess, to some extent. And it's a shame. And I do tend to remind those people, if I see a comment like that, I instead of just deleting it or just going on, or if it's really vicious, you know, they might get blocked. But I'll just let them know, I'm sorry, which I do. I have a standard policy. I block bigots. You know, if you leave a bigoted remark on one video, you're probably going to be back with more crazy bigotry. You know, we don't need it. It's a really bad reflection on the shooting community. It really is. I don't know who does it. It could be anti-gunners doing it to make us look bad. Whatever it is, it's just not good. And again, I give as much freedom as I can out there in the comments, but it's our living room, just like your channel is your living room. Your living room is your living room. Your business is your business. You know, you want people walking into it and doing things, saying things that hurt your business. You know, same way with, you know, a YouTube channel when you get right down to it. And again, I want people to be able to watch it. I want those little 5-year-olds I've talked about to be able to watch those 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds that can actually read. Heck, 5-year-olds can read, right? They may not know some of the words they see on YouTube, but I want those people. That this makes me feel so good when they tell me that they watch the videos, that their parents allow them to watch the videos, and they're not afraid to. And they'll tell me over and over. I hear this so often that yours, I don't mean to sound self-serving, but you know, yours are the only ones I'll let them watch. And that's only because, you know, we've got such a big presence. There's lots of YouTubers out there they could watch, and you know, they're not going to have that stuff. But they're just trying to make me feel better too. But when they tell me that they let them watch the videos, they're not afraid to let them watch our channel at all. You know, that's good. It's what we want. It's not I don't mean to be patting myself on the back. This is intentional. This is what I want. We need to reach the youngsters. We need to reach everybody. It does the Second Amendment no good, does this sport and this hobby no good, if we are coming off as a bunch of crazies, you know, foul-mouthed crazies, right? That that's just not good. We have an image problem. We have a PR problem, of course, as shooters, and that's just something that's always there. And a lot of it's manufactured by the other side, but it is there, and so that's where this comes from, for sure. So anyway, just again reiterate that, and I appreciate the fact, and I'm very, very grateful and thankful that there's so many kids watching the videos, and of course, if they're watching the videos, they can read the comments. So, and I know you all probably are appreciative of that too. Please help me when you see something spamming out or whatever that you would not want your 10-year-old, your 8-year-old little girl to read. I mean, I really want to keep it family friendly, that overused term, and it is overused. And there's that term, that phrase, in some ways is offensive because there's so many assumptions about that too. But it really is the most, appropriate description of what we want to achieve here, because we want any family to be able to watch, and any youngsters to be able to watch pretty much the videos. We want to hook them in there, and the Second Amendment will be well supported if we can get everybody that has any interest into the shooting sports. And of course that goes for political persuasion and just everything, religion. None of that stuff matters. If you're a friend of freedom, you're a friend of the Second Amendment, the Constitution. As I've said before, you're a friend of mine. You're a friend of I think, all of us. We can agree to disagree maybe on some issues. And, from my standpoint, I mean, who am I to disagree with you on some issue that doesn't affect me, though? I mean, that's rather arrogant of me. To act like that's a big deal, that I don't agree with you on something. It doesn't matter whether I agree with you on something, on your religion or just anything like that, your politics. If you're a friend of, again, the Second Amendment and the Bill of Rights, let me be more precise there, the entire Bill of Rights, then you're a friend of mine. Okay, that's just the way it is. So. Again, as I say, I don't get into party politics much, but I lean very heavily libertarian. I think you can tell just from, hearing me talk over the years and things that are important to me. And I try to be consistent in my thinking. That's something that I try to achieve. It's a difficult thing to do, isn't it? Especially when you have difficulty even thinking, period, right? But anyway, everybody's welcome. I can't think of anybody out there in the viewing and listening audience I would not welcome and be glad you're here, as long as you are civil and you are a supporter of gun rights and, just freedom. You're not doing anything to hurt anybody. You're just a good guy, a good gal. Well, believe it or not, this is a gun channel, right? And listen up. I bet you know what rifle that is. If you've been listening, yep, it's the Mosin PU sniper. And PU is right. It's got ballistol all over it now. No, actually, I like the smell of ballistol in the morning and the evening. And when I first started using it, about 15 years ago, I thought it really was a stinker. Not too bad, but it worked so well, I didn't care, and I got over it. And now I'm really sick. I actually enjoy the smell of it. It doesn't bother me a bit. But yes, got the PU sniper here, cleaned her up. And interesting piece of history. We will shoot that thing. This one, let me see, what was I going to tell you? Yeah, 1944. And it's a dandy. It's a dandy, and it is matching serial numbers and all that. I mean, these Mosins are, they're, in a way, they're ugly, when you compare them with, the Mausers or a Krag or what else, Swedish Mausers. What am I leaving out here? The Enfield, especially. They're kind of clunkers. They really are. I know I'm offending some of you, but they work. they work, and they have a lot of history, and they're not expensive, so you can't hate them. I tell you, they shoot a powerful cartridge, and this one has a nice trigger. A lot of them don't. So this one actually is a good shooter. You would really like this one. I tell you, you definitely would. And again, I appreciate the moseandcrate.com for providing that. And I really haven't checked out their site extensively, and I have noticed they've got a lot of information there. If you're looking for one you don't have or something, again, hope you go check them out at least. And as I've said before, we don't really have a lot of sponsors, so to speak. We just have some people that help us from time to time. And if someone is helping us out, I hope if you get a chance that you help them, maybe let them know you appreciate it, because we don't get any money from them, and we just give a plug, here and there, and give them some exposure. And in the meanwhile, we get to shoot some pretty cool firearms and show them to you. I know what I was about to say earlier, I think. I don't know if I said it or not. Again, this is rambling time when you get through the radio show, right? But I solicit your help in guiding people that leave comments and things. And the mission here. I talked about it some today. Help me educate people. I've talked about this before too. I really hate to think that I block someone who just comes in and they leave some atrocious comment, because I assume, okay, they're a troublemaker, and we don't need them around. They'll be going from video to video just causing trouble. But then again, sometimes it might be somebody who just wasn't thinking or had a couple of too many beers that day, whatever. Any chance you get to let them know how we operate, here at the Hickok45 channel, is appreciated. And little things, big things, just whatever, answering questions, really appreciate it, because I don't see them all, of course. And we have almost 1,000 videos. Hard to believe, isn't it? Comments on all of them, people asking questions on all of them, and I spend a lot of time every day answering questions, and Facebook and then on YouTube, sometimes even in the videos. It just depends. So, and I still get people, oh, where's Hickok? Hickok never answers questions, does he? Well, no, just half a day every day, And I don't. Just a little housekeeping stuff. I really don't answer. I have to skim and skip things, and so I skip things that are that we have actually produced a video on in FAQ videos. So that's the thing you could remind people. Check the FAQ video playlist. You don't even have to answer the question. Just guide them towards that, and as they scroll through all those, then they can see what. It's not like you have to go through all 50 or 60 FAQ videos to get an answer. Scrolling through the titles, you can see what they're about. So that pretty quickly get answers to things, or just go through them all. They're only about a minute long anyway. But you can help there, of course. Don't have time to engage in big conversations. Just kind of the nature of it, as you can imagine. That people will ask me, Hickok, what are your thoughts on some gun or whatever? Well, it's a gun I don't know anything about. I can't even get into that. Or if I've done a video on it, those are my thoughts on it. So it's just, so I look for questions, read them all. But as far as clicking, opening it, and going to answering and replying, through that process, when I have hundreds of them, I don't get to that point if it's unless it's something that, it's hard to really explain which ones I actually answer. Probably answer 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, however briefly. But just can't write an essay to people. Can't write 100 essays every morning, and every evening. So I know y'all understand that. Just common sense. Again, if you know anybody, or if you have a channel and you've got even 10,000 subscribers or something, you know what I'm talking about. Just multiply that, and it's I started to say it's crazy. It's not crazy. It's a good thing in a lot of ways, but it's just crazy in terms of how demanding it is to even get through it, all. But anyway, you can help is great. I appreciate that. One thing you don't know is that the gun shop I've been working with in terms of just checking in guns in Jolton is going out of business, I think the end of this month. So I've had to switch over and have guns brought in from a different source. I didn't want any lag time with, guns coming in there, after they're closed, the doors are closed, they're bouncing back and forth, all that sort of thing. So I've been trying to get a new FFL license to all the different vendors, the different gun companies that send us guns. And I'm going to be using a little shop in Pleasant View, Tennessee. So just so you'll know that, you'll hear me give them a plug every now and then. Good guy, works there, Jim. It's called elksoutdoors.com. Well, that's their website. It's called Elks Outdoors. And nice. It's a small shop, but a nice shop. Great folks. And they've agreed to check in firearms for me at a very minimal, cost, which is important because I check in so many are going in and out and everything. And there are several gun shops have offered to do that. We're very fortunate, and several gun shops help us in lots of different ways, as you see in the videos. Get guns to us or lend us guns and all that kind of thing. So we are fortunate. We get a lot of help from shops around Middle Tennessee, Guns and Leather, Tennessee Gun Country up in Clarksville, Nashville Gun Shop and down in Nashville. Who else? Or at least somebody else out here locally. And of course, there have been gun shops nationally that have sent guns to it. The Gun Parlor, I think that one's in Massachusetts, and Top Gun Supply. So it's just we're really fortunate in that there are lots of places out there that have been willing to do things for us, and we certainly appreciate it all. And as I've told you before, I'm a gun shop hound. I prowl around. I cannot drive past one. It's hard for me to drive past. So I should be. Let's put it that way. The ideal person to open up a gun shop. But that is scary. I wouldn't want that burden. I don't have time to even think about it, but I would be a perfect person for that, because for the last 40 years, I've hung out in so many gun shops. I've seen a lot of them come and go. I know what seems to work, what doesn't, what I like, what I don't like as a customer, and all that. So maybe I should retire from doing videos and just be a gun shop consultant, right? But anyway, we get a lot of perks and help here and there. We certainly appreciate it. We've gotten lots of guns here locally. Tennessee Gun Country, of course, the Jolton shop is going out of business. Guns and Leather is offered us guns, and we've borrowed guns from them. We're going to borrow more from them because they have a standing offer there. And the gunsmith over there, Jeff Wally, has really helped me when I was in a bind a couple of times where I didn't have to leave the gun. Something I had an issue with that I was going to do a video on, and he's been kind enough to work me in there if it's just something that needs, just a quick look at it or figure it out, because I'm too stupid to figure it out, and he's not, fortunately. But he's a great gunsmith. I've known him for a long time and competed with him for years. He was my nemesis. For a long time, he was the one guy around here locally. I just about could not. I think I beat him once, probably, maybe twice, somewhere along the way. All the other times, just could not finish above him in IPSC. He is good. He is good. And of course, there are a lot of other good folks that have come along through the years there now, and there's probably a lot of them I couldn't beat. But he's quite a competitor, and but a really good gunsmith, more importantly, and helps me out of a jam when I need it or to fix something. And I always accuse him of, I always act surprised that he's sober when I see him. I shouldn't joke so much. I do. I one day in the shop, I recall when he walked out, "Oh, Jeff, you look sober for a change," or something. Customers around and everything. Fortunately, people know me, and they know I'm a bit of a jokester, and obviously, if somebody had a drinking problem, I wouldn't joke. Even I have my limits, right? If someone actually had a drinking problem, I would not. If you had a drinking problem, for example, and you're going to Alcoholics Anonymous every Tuesday night, I would not make a joke about you being sober for a change. So, yeah, it's just me. I can't resist it. I just the poor students, they had to deal with that every day. It's just the way it is. I was probably one of the few teachers, maybe in existence, when I think about it. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I had my students conditioned. I mean, I was strict in a lot of ways, but then I also like to have fun, as you can imagine. And I tried to achieve that delicate balance where I could be crazy, they could be a little crazy, but I could pull them back, just in a couple seconds, and we get serious again. If you teach yourself or you've ever done that, that's hard to do, but it's really valuable to be able to do that. That was my goal, because I like to have fun. And I mean, think about the fun you can have teaching with all those little faces and, gullible kids and all that. I mean, it's just, I used to say it was a target-rich environment, for lame humor, but you got to watch using that phrase, right? In the school now, target-rich environment could be misinterpreted, but you know what I mean. It is. You've got teenagers, and half of them are extremely gullible, and it's just fun. And so I just couldn't resist, having some of that fun, and I think I achieved that pretty well. Especially my last 10 years or so, I got even better at that. I think of that balance, being able to have fun but yet be strict too. And oh man, I would say things. Those kids could have roasted me if they wanted to. If they had recorded me or just wrote down, Mom, guess what Mr. So-and-so said today? Well, they'd be calling the newspaper. He said I was an idiot. He called us ugly. Or he said, you stupid little kids, or something. And I would say that kind of thing. I would, we'd be ready to start class, and I'd go over, maybe close the door and say, okay, you stupid little kids, let's get started, or something. And of course, they knew I was saying that lovingly, and I would just have fun with them. And they had fun with me. I would take it and I would dish it out both, and they could pick on me and I would pick on them. But anyway, I do say things, and of course in videos sometimes I do that, and people get bent out of shape because they don't realize I'm kidding. But after they've seen a few videos, I think they get the picture. I try not to be too extreme. I try to control myself, but I like to have fun, if you haven't noticed, and in a safe way. By the way, off another topic, I noticed a target line here. We're trying to include a target in a lot of the videos, and because people ask about them all the time, and just I've got kind of a system where I can do that now without having to think about it too much, and stick it up and then pop it on eBay. And again, if it sells for $20 or $100, whatever it is, it helps the cause. And I go buy boxes, and I'm buying these tubes and sending them out, and that, so they're not folded up, the ones that you see in the videos. And I pay the shipping and all that and everything. And as I said, I think I have it on the actual listing now. I'm having trouble with my PayPal going through into the charities, and again, I've got a million things I'm trying to work out technologically and everything else. I don't know what the problem is with that. I'll go ahead and designate it again to go this 25% or 50%, whatever it is, to this, and then weeks later, this was not paid, and you got to do. Hey, I don't have time for that. I think what we're going to do is forget that, as you've noticed. Can't stop and work it out for some reason. But anyway, we're just going to do a target for charity every now and then, and I don't know. We need to work out something different. I like that eBay thing because it's kind of seamless. I thought it was, but have had the weird issues with it. One guy didn't even ever pay for his target, and the money came out of my account anyway. And all that. I've had a lot of weird things happen with it. And then, of course, it's not always deductible for me. It is for you. it's just treated as income to me because it comes into my PayPal account, and then, so, it's just crazy. Try and do something good there with it, and doesn't seem to want to work out. But I think we're going to just, every now and then, we're going to designate a target. Or I've been thinking about, it would really be better, maybe you have some ideas on that, it would really be better occasionally to do a target or something like that. And I don't know how I could do it. What I'd really rather you do, you just write the check to whatever it is, if it's the NRA or Gun Owners of America or the food bank, and maybe you send me a receipt and you get the whatever it is we're selling or auctioning it off. I don't know. We're going to think about that and do that in a different way to where that money never even comes to me, period. So it's just not something else in terms of my bookkeeping I've got to keep up with, coming in, going out, and all that sort of thing. So everything has to get so complicated, doesn't it? So you're trying to do something to help out. I have an automatic deduction from it's just automatic deduction. For my credit card, it goes to the food bank every month. So I'm not. I don't feel like I'm remiss if I don't do something. But with our large audience, I'd like to do something bigger every now and then. For the food bank or for the NRA. And of course now, since we've given some pretty significant money from these targets, to the three of the biggest gun rights organizations, I'm getting duplicate mail seems like every week from all those organizations. So that would have been better if I had worked that out differently too. Maybe you make the donation, send me the receipt, so we'll see. We'll think about that a little bit. And it's another thing on top of all the other hundreds, but there's probably a better way to do all that and take advantage of the size, of the channel, and do some more good in addition to the things we've already done and what I do every month anyway. But anyway, by the same token, it's a great help to us. Those $50, those $100 here and there, even after tax and all that. I've got lawyers' fees and all kinds of things and insurance that it helps defray some of those extraneous things that pop up. We've got some trademarking going on, and it's just amazing what everything costs, isn't it? Yeah, you know that as well as I do. I mean, we spend hundreds of dollars just getting to the meet and greets and that sort of thing. So every little bit helps. What else was I going to talk about? Let's get back to shooting. How'd you like that BAR? Was that cool or what? Speaking of Tennessee gun country, they came up with that. Isn't it interesting? You get to talking to somebody and talking about firearms they have, and they actually own a BAR. I mean, even though it's a replica, you saw it. That is a monstrosity, an expensive monstrosity. And, someone, I've got one of those, if you ever want to borrow it. And the fellow at Tennessee Gun Country mentioned that several weeks ago. And I thought, do I want to borrow it? Yes, I think so. So I had that on my radar, and definitely I wanted to grab that thing and shoot it, even though it's not select fire, like a big deal. Man, that thing is unbelievable, and so big. And we went ahead and posted 2 of the video. We have actually we did 4 videos with that, so you'll get a little more BAR action before that's over. We wanted to wring that thing out, do some different things with it, and before we returned it. And of course, we could get it back probably sometime if we ever really wanted to. If I'm young enough to lift it, let John shoot it. But a pretty interesting firearm, and that is what's so cool about the firearms hobby, is just the history associated with them. And people make fun of certain firearms because they're not high tech or whatever, or that one even. I saw some comments, a couple snide remarks about not being select fire, why bother? Some people are unhappy that there's oxygen in the air, aren't they? I mean, some people really are. It's just amazing. Here I am. I'm excited that I get a chance to get a hold of something like that, and then can actually shoot it, borrow it, and put it in a video. But it comes down to that old thing, seeing the glass half full or half empty, I guess. I tend to see it half full. I'm just so pleased to get a hold of something like that and to be able to shoot it. And no, it's not Select Fire. It's not an original. Yeah, who knows? We may get an original sometime to mess with. I see them at the Knob Creek machine gun shoot. At that machine gun shoot, well, I guess there's people shooting them too, but at the gun show is what I'm thinking about at the Knob Creek machine gun shoot. They have a big gun show, and in conjunction with the shoot, and you're likely to see anything there for sale. And those babies can be priced at $40, $50, $60, $70,000, lying there, on a table. How's that for crazy? An original, BAR. So it's what everybody needs. Everybody needs one of those standing in the corner, right? Whether you can lift it or not. I'll tell you another gun. Since you listen to this rambling, try to give you a tip maybe. Others don't hear that are not willing to wade through one of these radio shows. But I got a range officer compact in yesterday from Springfield Armory. And that is an interesting little pistol. And I haven't fired it yet, but I was pleasantly surprised. I guess I just didn't know all that much about it. It's 4-inch barrel and slide. It holds 6 rounds. It's got a slightly shorter grip. It's a 6-round, takes a 6-round magazine. Of course, it'll take any of the 1911 magazines, but as far as flush, it'd be a 6-rounder. Has an alloy frame, but the barrel is ramped, so it's embedded in the ramp, the frame, which is good. I had a firearm similar to that from another company years ago, and just a few rounds of hollow point ammo banging against the alloy ramp actually put dents in it, damaged it, and so I've always thought maybe the ideal carry 1911 would be something like this. Actually, if you're determined rather to carry a 1911 45, well, any caliber I guess, but a 1911 that's not too heavy, well, there you got it. You've got the alloy frame, which makes it light. It's smaller, than even the commander size. Not a lot smaller, but a little bit smaller. And you've done away with the weight. I haven't weighed it yet. It probably weighs, I don't know, something like probably a Glock 19, I would guess, because the only metal really is the frame or slide. And so it should be similar. You got a really lightweight frame and all that. And then with that ramped barrel embedded the way it embeds, fits down in the slot, you don't have to worry about the soft metal, of the frame getting beat up, battered. And if you like the 1911 style, that would not be a bad carry gun if it's reliable. I've not fired it yet, and this one's brand new. But that's pretty cool. I've often looked at my Cobra Carry Ed Brown and thought, this would be possibly the ideal carry 1911 if that frame were made of titanium, for example. That wouldn't be too expensive, would it? That way you get the lightweight frame. You get a 1911, a commander size 1911, as light as it can be. I mean, you don't want the slide made out of alloy. It needs to be, steel. And I guess you render the frame about the same weight as aluminum or polymer, even maybe, if it's titanium. I don't know. Titanium is pretty strong, isn't it, from what I understand, so it probably wouldn't get beat up, but you'd have that lightweight. Of course, the gun would be $5,000 instead of what it is, but anyway, interesting firearm. I'm anxious to shoot the thing and show it to you. We did a video yesterday, we'll post before too long, of the XDS 45, speaking of small 45s, in the 4.0 version. You know, I have the 3.3, and this is the same gun with just a little bit longer slide. And that might be something if you're one of those people that likes that XDS 45, because that longer, just that slightly longer slide and barrel dampens the recoil on that baby. It does, as I point out in the video. If you're one of those people that really likes that 3.3 XDS and 45, but it just kicks a little too much for you, you would like this one. It pretty much solves that issue, I think. And it doesn't dampen it totally, but there's a definite difference. There really is. So anyway, those are some things coming up, and lots of things coming up. We got an AR or two, and some the one coming in from Beretta, the ARX 100, I think, and some things like that. We got an extremely lightweight AR. We'll get out. And we've got a Lionheart. We have Bond Arms you're going to be seeing pretty soon. We've got a Rock Island Armory coming up, and who knows what. Again, I post a lot of things over on Facebook. And I know some of you don't like Facebook. I never really liked it much in the past. I've never really used it much. And when I set up the Hickok45 Facebook, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, maybe, whenever that was, they call it a public figure page or something. It was mainly just to stay in touch with you, and really it was kind of a survival thing. It was a prepper thing. I wanted to have a way to be able to contact at least a large number of the viewers if YouTube went down, lost the channel, or Google did something, whatever, just so, okay, I could go there and still communicate with a lot of you, and word would get around, hey, we're going to rebuild the channel, or we're not coming back, we're going to do videos, and I don't know, put them on DVDs or something, I don't know, whatever, what about it? That was really something that was on my mind at the time. And yeah, we didn't have nearly as many subscribers back when I started that. I think now, it'd be hard to hide, and I could get the word out what's going on if something happened. But that's kind of what that was all about at the time. And the reason I have this on Facebook is it's not that I'm some big celebrity or something. It's so that I guess it's, as you think about it, it's so that you don't have to approve friends or followers or whatever, whereas on most Facebook pages, someone requests to be a friend, like on my personal one, which I rarely ever use, and I don't approve a friend unless I know who it is, personally and all that. Someone I went to high school with or college or something. And so you look at that person, well, who is that? I don't know who that is, or you look to mutual friends, oh, yeah, that's right, that character was in my high school class. Well, maybe I'll, accept them as a friend or something, whatever, or not. But, so you couldn't do that when you've got, hundreds, every day, requesting to be a friend or something, and you don't know any of them, so that's, I guess, the purpose of that public figure or fan page, whatever they call it now. And it actually, I don't know, it was up to like 20 or 30,000 followers, and I was really not, I never went to it, really. It was just kind of there. And then I started getting into it a little bit 6 or 8 months ago, or a year ago, whenever that was, and started posting pictures again, and realized that a lot of people use Facebook a lot, and they'd get on to me about never going to the Facebook, or I ask you a question over on Facebook or whatever. And of course, I'm not going to see all the questions anyway, but still, I do use it for that reason. It's strictly to stay in touch with you guys and to help support the channel, and it's a place to put pictures. We don't do a lot of random stuff, in our videos. They might seem like that, but we don't just post a video of this and that, or a picture, or a video of pictures, or whatever, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Some of it might be crazy, but so Facebook gives another place to post a picture or make an announcement, or just anything like that. we go on a trip, I'll post a couple of pictures from the trip or just whatever. I even post over there sometimes, let you know, like that I was going to be in Friendship the next day at the National Muzzleloading Shoot, and a couple of people came there because of that, and I had a chat with them. So I just do things like that over there. So even if you don't like Facebook, if you check that out, you might find it useful. I don't know. I don't use Facebook much either, or at least personal Facebook, but I do use the Hickok45 Facebook mainly to help keep you guys informed, because it provides a way to do that in different ways without creating a video. I guess what I'm trying to say. So, anyway, I post something over there every couple of days, probably, sometimes a couple of times a day. It just depends on what's going on. I also try to remember to post a video there. When I post a video, is to post it over there too as an announcement. Obviously, it's not uploaded there. It's just the link and pictures of guns and the different things, maybe around the compound. So just be aware of that. If you don't like Facebook, I guess you don't see any of that. But some of the things that might be news to you in a radio show, if you were over there occasionally on Facebook or were following the Hickok45 Facebook page, you would already know about it, right? And again, I think it links, I have it where it links everything I post there to Twitter. So, you might follow me on Twitter if you don't like Facebook. So, just a heads up there. I guess I've rambled enough, haven't I? I act like you really care what I have to say. Well, a few of you have told me often enough that you like the radio shows, that I keep doing them. It's not like that I really think I'm a celebrity or something. It's just kind of funny how all this has gone. That it's very pleasing and it's neat. It's cool that so many people watch the videos. I don't deny that one bit. It's cool to run into people all the time that recognize me, John, and watch the videos. It just it confirms what we're doing. It kind of validates it, I guess, that so many people watch it, and it's just still amazing. It really is. Now that it's worked out this way, and just doing the same kinds of stuff that we were doing long before YouTube even came along, and it's neat. Let's see if I can think of anything we do in videos that we didn't do before the videos. Not much. We were always shooting and shooting stuff up. For decades, if an appliance went bad, it hit the shooting range. And we'd pepper it, for a few days before I would take it to the recycling center. I mean, we'd shoot jugs of water, we'd shoot ice. Maybe we didn't shoot 2 liters, I don't know, but I mean any kind of bottle, full of water or anything, and we would shoot them. So all this stuff we've just been doing, and I've been trading and buying guns and learning about firearms and trying to help other people, learn about them that were interested. So really nothing has changed dramatically other than the fact the camera came out, and I have to be on my best behavior, right? When the camera's rolling, I'm always on my best behavior, actually. Well, maybe. And so it is weird. I was driving up the interstate the other day, and a guy was riding beside me. I thought he was going to be some irate driver, road rage incident or something, and I didn't even look over for a while, but he kept riding along right beside me. It turned out to be some guy who recognized me riding up the interstate, and waved and made his finger into a gun. He was from Michigan, in some little red car. If you're listening, tell him I'm not making that up. But it was funny. It's just really interesting that so many people actually are watching shooting videos, and I'm sure the other people that do shooting videos are seeing the same thing. There's just an uptick in people using the internet to learn about firearms, and it's a good thing, because we all kind of control it. There's no big gatekeeper, and at least right now, the only gatekeeper is us, right? And of course, with that comes some responsibility. as I talked about earlier, we want to represent the shooting community, as best we can. I mean, I do some things maybe on the edge occasionally. I'll get people give me a hard time about this or that. Shooting watermelons, all that nutritious food or something that would have gone to Africa. We get the usual things like that. But we try to keep in mind we need to be pretty responsible and represent the shooting community in a positive way and be mindful of that, because a lot of people are watching, and more each day. So it's important stuff. There are people who are going to be anal about everything. And speaking of shooting a watermelon, it's always interesting to me how many people get upset when they're sitting there watching nightly drivel of TV and cars exploding and going off cliffs and cars running through a house, whatever it might be. The tens of thousands of dollars of things being destroyed, every 30 minutes, and never crosses their minds probably. But yet, I shoot a $3 watermelon, that was just going to rot, or I was going to eat it. And it creates a international piece of drama for somebody. It's just so funny. It's just so funny. But I recall, and you may disagree. You may disagree, but I remember I was in a school situation. I won't get too specific, and there was an administrator that got really upset when he learned that in art class, those evil little kids and the teacher were being creative with, I guess it was macaroni or elbow macaroni. Some of the, those packs of macaroni. They were making things out of that sort of stuff and gluing them together and making whatever, animals, giraffes, and all kinds of cool things. And just kind of went ballistic over that. And I didn't say much. I said, yeah, that's tragic. I didn't say anything, but I wanted to just laugh that he was having such a hard time with that. I just still feel like that shows a lack of understanding of economics and how all that works in food distribution. And it just reveals it when you get so upset about something like that. But anyway, be that as it may, I'm not perfect either. I know you thought I was. You were convinced of it. And people do have probably too high an opinion sometimes of me. I am not infallible, but we try to do things the right way, and we have fun doing it. And apparently a lot of you enjoy it. I'm glad you do. And I hope you continue to watch. I hope you get back, and if you're a new subscriber or relatively new, you are working your way back through the backlist. We've put a lot of time in, a lot of videos, and there's some good ones back there. Just because they're old, they all kind of stand on their own. Now there are some way back maybe that aren't as good, or the camera wasn't as high a quality and that kind of thing. But we've had pretty much the same approach all along. And those FAQ videos, people that have watched all the FAQ videos and the vlogs and the radio shows, some of you probably, know more about me than I know about me. It's scary how much you know about me, probably. You've seen all of that. You could just step right in here and do a radio show. You could be me. Just like the KGB-65 could do. You could just do a radio show and pretend you're me, right? And you'd sound a whole lot smarter, I'm sure. But anyway, I've enjoyed chatting with you. I guess I haven't relayed a lot of useful information about firearms or anything. I was actually in the mood to just do a radio show, so made a few notes about some stupid things I could talk about and to bore you with. So here I am in the reloading room again, and I need to be cleaning this place up, but instead I'm yakking about firearms. Firearms are fun. It's a great hobby. I'm so sorry that there are so many people that think it's an evil hobby, and they try to propagate that narrative every chance they get, just like the shooting in Las Vegas. that sad event that took place there, and the guy who intervened and tried to do something about it. I can't blame him a bit. He might have prevented, in that Walmart, he might have prevented several people from being killed right there. But no. The anti-gunners, we can't have a carry permit holder looking like he might have been justified in what he did. We can't have that. No. We've got to continue the narrative, the fiction, that guns are always evil. There is never a reason, never a good purpose for a firearm, especially in the hands of a civilian. You need to have a pretty uniform on in order to know anything about firearms or protecting your life or your family, right? Yeah, the people in uniforms are very useful, of course, but unfortunately, they are, even under the best situations, they're usually 3 or 4 minutes late. They're 2, 4, 5, 15, 20 minutes after the fact. They're there to take the report and try to figure out who shot whom and why, and get somebody in there to clean up the mess. It's been over for quite a while before they arrive. It's just a fact of life, isn't it? But anyway, hope you get a chance to shoot this week and do some gun fondling in a safe manner. Learn a little bit about a firearm. Hopefully we'll post a few things that will help learn you a little bit. How's that? Life is good.
You've been listening to the Hickok45 radio show. See you on the range.